Hey, Scott, what you reading there?
Oh, man, there's a new review posted again on their criticalbreakdown.com.
Wait a second. What day is it?
It's sometime in May. And I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, oh, man, you're reading last year's May movie reviews again?
Exactly what I'm thinking.
But no, they're doing it again, man. They're fucking nuts.
They're posting a movie review every day in May on thecriticalbreakdown.com.
Yeah, they sure are. Max, Scott, and guest blogger and podcast guest Albert have been doing it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
What kind of movies? Like, what categories are we talking here? Just give me like two.
Oh, man. There's all sorts. They're going from Razzie Award winners to Best Picture Award winners to high-budget flops. And you know what? Some of your favorites from your childhood.
Wow.
It's so cool. Yeah.
That is cool.
I love the cut of this Max guy's jib.
Yeah. Scott brings hot takes and Albert brings puns.
Sure does. So the three of them are doing that all month long.
So make sure, if I was reading them, Scott, I would share them and leave comments on them.
Ooh, yeah, that'd be good. I'm going to do that now. I'm going to www.facebook.com/thecriticalbreakdown, and I'm just going to leave them a little comment that says, hey, Scott was right. D2 The Mighty Ducks is amazing. Hello, and welcome to The Critical Breakdown, the podcast where we start at the bottom of Rotten Tomatoes and work our way to 100% fresh. I'm Scott.
And I'm Max, and today we are discussing the new release, Avengers Infinity War.
Oh, shit. Did that already come out?
Yes, this past weekend.
I missed it.
I know what you guys are thinking. Our next episode was supposed to be Galaxy Quest, and our next episode will be Galaxy Quest.
Boom.
But we wanted to tear into this juicy superhero nugget while the serving dish was still hot.
Nice. When you think about it, Infinity War really is a Galaxy Quest. So
there you go, dude.
So we are still fulfilling our promise.
Yeah.
And more literally, we'll fulfill it next week. But we both saw it. Sometimes we don't get on these new releases opening weekend, but this one we did. So let's talk, man. Let's wrap.
I will say it's funny that we both managed to see it because we've had a pretty crazy schedule, the two of us, the last couple months, and this is kind of when things are calming down in our other stuff life outside of the podcast. So it's nice to be able to just jump back in, and it was perfect timing for the summer. So
for sure,
this is what we started on our summer movie countdown, our preview, and it's nice to just get there right away. I think I'm gonna try. I don't want to say all the movies.
Don't say it, because we've said it every year, and we haven't.
I'm gonna try to at least see the ones I'm excited about opening weekend.
Oh, okay, that's a big
opening week to weekend, somewhere in that range. But the ones I am excited about.
He's already pushed them, folks.
No, I'm just making. There will be some weeks that are hard, but
so Mamma Mia, you're definitely there Thursday night.
Well, here's the thing.
Here it is.
For these big releases, the movie theaters right up the street from me on Saturdays and Sundays do 9 a.m. movies.
That's convenient, yeah.
I love early morning movies. In fact, I saw this at 9:30 a.m. The nice thing about that is literally you do get a couple kids, but it's somehow less kids than when it's nighttime, and there's less talkers. It's more just people like us who are nerdy people who want to see movies early in the morning.
Yeah, it's usually a good crowd. I know you and I saw Spider-Man Homecoming that way. We caught like a 9:15 on a Sunday or something.
That was a great experience, honestly. Like every time I've gone, I've had a good experience watching something. So
so I did the opposite. I saw it at 9:45 at a packed theater and had a pretty awful theater experience. But we're not here to talk about that. We're going to talk about the movie. The first 5 to 10 minutes here are going to be spoiler free. So those of you on the Marvel fence, though there's probably not many people who are unsure if they want to see it. Now is the time to listen and then check out. We'll play that beautiful Seinfeld music when you're ready to exit. And then we'll talk for a little more about spoiler stuff. So,
all right, so here we go. Avengers Infinity War.
The entire time I knew him, he only ever had one goal. To wipe out half the universe. If he gets all the Infinity Stones, He can do it with the snap of his fingers. Just like that.
Tell me his name again.
Thanos.
So Max, what did you think of it? What's the verdict?
Verdict for me, man. You know how I've been hesitant for a while to like really love the Marvel universe again. I think this one just won me over again. I loved this movie, man. I thought it was great.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, you haven't been all in on Marvel like some folks. I think I've been a little more in than you, but it's good that it hit for you. You know, I liked it too. I think I'm a little more hesitant than you are, but I think talking it through might get me where I need to be.
Well, I know, and a guy literally like 2 seats away from me was saying this, but from the movies at least, not the comics, because I just kind of read whatever with Marvel, but from the movies, I've really dug the cosmic stuff they're doing.
Yeah,
I think it
sure.
really sets them apart from, I mean, obviously they're the only real player in the game right now, but it's not, they're not just doing superheroes with this cosmic thing. It's, you know, they are super powered people, but it's interesting to see that all come together. And I realized also seeing this, I'm way more interested in those characters than the Earth ones, even though I love a lot of the Earth ones, but no, so, you know, it was...
When you say the cosmic, you mean the Guardians of the Galaxy and the Thor characters, basically, right?
Yeah, those are super fun for me. I enjoy pretty much all of their parts in this film. With the Earth crew, I mean, I like them still. I love the Black Panther squad. And I still like most of the Avengers. I like all the Avengers. They're fine. I mean, the Vision's boring, but...
Yeah.
You know...
Some are more developed than others.
Yeah.
I'm still a big Tony Stark fan. I think I like what they've done with his character. Yeah, he's really good in this.
Loved him in this. And it's been a while since I've straight out loved Tony. So
yeah. You're one of the bigger Tony critics I know.
Yeah. I mean, because I've always felt like, you know, they don't let him learn enough in the films. They keep him too stagnant sometimes, but they have let him learn more. I won't say anything else about that now, but you know, he's good in this. He's great. He's great in this, really. So
yeah, he really is. And I think not Tony Stark. I think Spider-Man has added a lot to Tony's character.
Agreed. Yeah.
Between this movie and Homecoming and even Civil War, which is a little bit, but it's actually added a nice little edge to Tony. So
yeah. I've
been happy with that. They do a good job of kind of dividing the characters up in a natural way. Yeah. The plot had a lot of places to go, but and they went there. And it could have easily fallen into just like vignettes for all the characters. Yeah. Like now it's a Thor scene, now it's just Tony Stark scene, etc. But they kind of bobbed and weaved the characters throughout a good bit. I thought they did a good job balancing it that way. Yeah,
it ends up feeling kind of like there's 3 plots going on at the same time instead of like 30, which it easily could have been. Yeah. And the plots all kind of come together and split apart at like the right moments. It felt a lot more cohesive than Civil War did. But that's just me, because you know my issues with it being 3 different feels to that one.
Yeah.
Once again, like I think actually the last time me and you talked through Civil War, it gave me more desire to watch it, revisit it. So I'll probably get to that soon. Just because you had some interesting thoughts on Act 3 that made me like want to watch it again.
Yeah, yes. I think for some people the climactic moments of Civil War worked, and for some people just didn't. Yeah. And I'm on team it works.
But
they did a lot of things similar here, I thought, as far as like character building and letting like emotional chords like not linger, but actually have room to develop. We talked a couple weeks ago, or maybe last week, about how Justice League was like a letdown because they don't do any character building. Yeah. And in this, another movie that is even busier than Justice League, they still take that time for character moments. And some of them I honestly don't care about. Like, Vision is a character that I truly don't care about.
Yeah. I
like Paul Bettany. It's just they haven't given Vision enough character beyond what was an Age of Ultron, which was a messy movie. So, but... They have a lot of good development there, and with other characters too, and it works really well because this isn't like as grand a scale as a movie can be on. Yeah. Like they're literally traveling throughout the universe on multiple planets and stuff.
Yeah.
and they still find a way to keep it grounded in that sense. So I liked that quite a bit.
Yeah, and all the big moves like that where the stories kind of diverge with each group, as I'll say, they feel natural. I mean, none of it felt forced. It made sense. The plot flows. It's
the
funny.
plot flows really well.
Yeah. It did not, other than the fact that I drank a very large soda,
Name drop that soda. Let's get that sponsorship money.
You know what I was drinking, so.
Okay.
That
RC
Coke,
Cola.
that Coke Zero Sugar or whatever. But no, I drank one of those, and I did feel the need to go to the restroom, but refused to.
Did you just pee in your bottle?
Yeah, I just peed in the bottle. I just handed it. Actually, it was a cup, but I just handed it to the guy next to me, and he was fine. But no,
do you want some sun drop?
Yeah. Oh, gross. Yeah, we promised spoiler-free section, but not urine joke-free.
Yeah, no, we can never make that promise.
But no, I really enjoyed. I mean, all of it just really worked for me, man.
Yeah, they ramped it up really well too, because again, it's like a galactic scale, but at the start, there's like 3 or 4 Avengers, and then other events happen, and then there's like 6 or 7 in another scene, then other things that happen, then it's like, okay, there's the rest of the gang.
Yeah.
But they did a good job.
From complaints that I have about the film, I can't even go into too much here, but the main thing for me would just be there were some CG moments that were just a bit too CG, but it was nowhere near the other Marvel movies when they go that route. So most of the CG looked really solid. Thanos never once looked necessarily bad in the CG rendering.
No.
Compare this to, once again, Justice League, their bad guy, whoever he was.
Yeah,
Let's just say Frankenberry.
Frankenberry?
Like Wolfenstein or something.
Steppenwolf.
Steppenwolf, yeah. No, I mean, that just proves right there that Marvel...
Thanos is awesome in this movie.
Yeah, he's pretty damn cool.
His motivation felt motivating. Like, it felt like a legitimate motivation. Sometimes with a villain, they just kind of tack something on and...
Yeah.
You're not really buying it. But he also felt insanely threatening. And we'll go into that a little more on the spoiler side. But.
For sure. And for a fully CG character, they did a really good job with that. So
yeah. I was actually reading to get the makeup for Thanos working right, Josh Brolin had to be in the makeup chair 26 hours a day. So that was just a fun fact.
Yeah. Yeah. That makes sense.
Okay, so the one problem I have that I don't want to go into too much detail until like 2 minutes from now, but it didn't feel like an ending to me. And and the reason for that is because they announced a long time ago that there's another Avengers movie coming out next year. Yeah. And while it's not technically like a part 1, part 2, they're very, very, very closely tied. And it felt like what we got was not a finale in any way.
Yeah, for me, I can see that. But there is one argument for it being an ending to that story from a character's perspective. But I'll get into that in a minute. So yeah. But I can see that. I think that's pretty valid. It
just it's not even that I didn't like what happened. It's just leaving the theater, I didn't have that satisfaction of a story closing, you know?
Yeah.
We just put a bookmark in the book, and then the rest of the pages were blank.
And I think that's easier to forgive when you know it's like part 1, part 2. But since they decided to not do that and not yet announce what the next film is called, it does kind of leave like a question just kind of ringing in your ears.
And there's nothing wrong with that. Like, it's intriguing and it's cool, but just like a... Like not the real like a punch in the throat like it could be. Why is a punch in the throat a good thing? But so Max, before we get to spoilers, what letter grade would you give this for those folks who are still listening and haven't seen it?
I'll just go with like a solid A, man.
Solid A.
Like, I had a blast watching it. I was gripping my seat and pressing my body into the seat at points, like when Thanos is beating people. Like you just I don't know, man. I was just gripping my seat, like freaked out. And I did not expect to have that reaction. And then, towards the end, my heart's racing. I'm like, what is going on? During the funny parts, I'm cracking up. There was a couple parts, could get misty-eyed, but I'm not going to say if I did or not because that's more spoiler territory.
Yeah, we'll get into that in a minute.
Yeah. But dude, no, I had a blast. This is
Good.
This is like the Cadillac of Marvel movies for me right now. So
Yeah, souped up.
yeah, it's full of all the features. Has you want to be seen in this ride, like what I'm saying, man. It's cool.
You want people to know you saw it.
Yeah, exactly. What about you? What do you give it?
I'd go like a B+.
Yeah.
No complaints. No major complaints. I'd watch it again in a heartbeat. Like once the crowds die down.
Yeah.
It's just a really solid movie. And we'll talk more here maybe now.
I will say, last thought for me, spoiler free, is my immediate reaction once you told me you were seeing it that night was to maybe try and go with you guys again because I wanted to see it again that badly.
Ooh, he was going for that double dip.
Yeah, and I haven't done a double dip on a single film in a long time.
Yeah, I can't remember the last time. And whenever I see the same movie twice in theaters, I usually fall asleep the second time.
That's funny.
Even if I love the movie. Like, I think I saw Dark Knight in theaters 4 times, and in the last 3 times I saw it, I fell asleep every time. But I'd talk to a friend, and be like, oh, you haven't seen it? Oh, yeah, let's go. And then I'd fall asleep like 20 minutes in.
For me, I think the one I always think of for sure was X2.
That you saw, that you double dipped?
Yeah, I walked out of one theater, went and bought another ticket, and went right back into the next showtime. I was just like, I have to see this again.
For me, I saw Baby Driver twice in its opening week there with 2 different groups.
Yeah.
But that's the last one I can think of.
I think for me, usually it's the Star Wars, too. Like,
we saw Force Awakens twice.
Yeah, so. Yeah. Well, all right, man.
Anyways, cue that funky music.
Here be spoilers.
So, Scott.
Hey, man.
Spoilers.
Loki dies.
Yeah.
Like, by this point in the movie, Loki would have died.
Yeah, exactly.
It actually worked for me, because like Loki's story has been done for a while, in my opinion.
We got to start out by just saying I love what Marvel's doing with their trailers, because this is the second trailer where they just straight up change the hell out of their shots and shits, and you don't know what's going on.
Listening to all the cloak and dagger shit that they did for this movie, like, apparently nobody got a real script except Benedict Cumberbatch.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so everybody just had like their lines right, and most, to my knowledge, unless it's all like part of the marketing act, like legitimately outside the editing room, nobody knew what was happening.
Well, for sure, Tom Holland does not need access to a full script because he will spoil the hell out of anything. It's been proven many times, so he just gets too excited. But no, so that makes sense. And I know in the trailers, a lot of people are kind of like, hey, but Loki kind of finally proved himself that he's capable of good in Thor Ragnarok. Why is he just giving up a stone? And when you see it in the movie, it's like, that's actually a great out for that character. And
it's like a total Loki move.
Yeah, he's being Loki, and he ends up dying from that. And it's great.
Loki.
Yeah. And right away, I mean, you feel threat because you see the Hulk get his ass kicked.
Yeah, and like the Hulk's ass got kicked so much that when Bruce Banner later tries to turn into the Hulk's like, I'm not fighting that guy.
Yeah, he's like, nope.
Yeah,
it's
which was
awesome.
interesting.
Yeah,
some of the dialogue there was so cheesy to me, like when Mark Ruffalo was arguing with the Hulk.
Yeah,
it was just, I mean, it was funny, but it also was like strange. I don't know.
I think it's interesting to see. For me, it didn't bother me, but it was like you get to see what's his name, Bruce Banner, more than the Hulk, and usually it's like he's scared to become the Hulk, but now he like wants to. So it's definitely weird. I mean, it definitely does feel different.
It kind of adds to the threat too, because it's like if even Bruce Banner needs the Hulk to come out, then that Thanos is a real bad bitch.
Oh yeah, and
Thanos was a real bad bitch too.
Yeah, man.
Him and his crew, I don't know all of their names. They didn't do a really good job of characterizing the 4, I guess they're children of Thanos.
Yeah.
I mean, but like the Squidward one was really cool.
They were henchmen 101 basically, but I mean they were cool and they felt threatening.
Yeah, for sure. And they were all unique.
Yeah.
Carrie Coon did the voice of the one. What was it like? Maxim Proxima or whatever.
Was that the one that looked like a Draenei from World of Warcraft?
I think they all did a little bit. It was the one that got in the fight with all the ladies in Wakanda at the end.
Oh yeah, yeah. I said she's a Draenei because she has the antlers.
Oh yeah, okay.
Or horns, okay. Whatever you'd call those. But yeah.
Anyways, yeah, but they were all like sufficiently like nefarious.
Yeah.
You know?
Let's just get to it, man. About half of the people in this movie presumably die at the end of it. About
half, pretty much exactly half, you could say.
Since that
the
is
whole point
Thanos'
of the Infinity
point,
Gauntlet, yeah. I thought that was an interesting character turn. You told me a little bit about Thanos' motivations and stuff in the comics, and how he was kind of chasing after Mistress Death, I believe.
Yeah.
He was lusting after her. And here they kind of changed it, and I can see how Thanos, one of the challenges of the villain is putting yourself in his mindset. And of course I would never be like, yeah, we need to kill half the population of everything.
Yeah.
But I can understand his logic of wanting to create prosperity and like save the future of life by destroying half the world.
Oh yeah.
Like
it's like when you and your buddies are just sitting around, like maybe drinking, and one of them says something like, everybody should be legally bound to do this one thing, and you're like, yeah, right. Yeah. It's just that, but like if you had a gauntlet that let you do whatever, basically. And I simplified it way too much where it sounds goofy, but like, you know, people who do go on these big ideological like missions like that, it kind of starts as just like a simple idea and they go for it. And so that's kind of his motivation, but obviously it's driven by what he thinks is like the right thing to do. So
yeah, for sure.
It does kind of flip things where he's moving on these actions because to him it's like literally what he needs to do to save the universe in a sense.
Yeah. So let me ask this, a clarification. When he so it all in the end he snaps his fingers, which apparently is another big comic thing. He snaps his fingers with the gauntlet with all the stones, and literally half of the population dies. That wasn't just on Earth, though. Was that like galactic wide?
Yeah, because I mean, none of the other characters were on Earth, the space ones.
Yeah, I know. But it would have been interesting if they would have shown, like, in Guardians, we've seen other planets and stuff, you know, just to, like, solidify that.
Yeah.
Because at first I was like, okay, maybe it's the population of Earth. But then when Groot gets siphoned up by the Ash
and then
monster,
they're over there on Titan as well. So
Yep. That was really interesting. And then the stuff with Gamora, I was surprised that it worked so much for me.
Yeah.
Where Gamora was like his adopted daughter, sort of like forced. And they had touched on that in the first Guardians of the Galaxy quite a bit. And it's so funny. When did the first Guardians come out? Like 2011 or something now?
That sounds about
2012.
right.
They've been planting these seeds since then, basically.
I was 2014, actually.
Oh, cool. Yeah. Nailed it.
Yeah.
They've been planting these seeds since at least the first Avengers, because the after credit scene of that is Thanos saying, I guess I'll do it myself.
Yeah, and one thing that's cool with this film, man, is like it feels like a natural sequel to everything we've seen recently.
Yeah, and it's nuts. I mean, all the marketing with the whole like the ultimate crossover event and all that, it's kind of cheesy, but it's also true.
Yeah.
Like the last few Marvel movies, in particular for me, Homecoming and to an extent Thor Ragnarok, they feel like culminations of this whole universe being built up, you know? In Homecoming, they have like the Captain America fitness test, and they have Stark Tower and, you know, Happy and Pepper Potts and everybody, like just little roles throughout these movies, but it's all towards this one universe. And then here they just like let it go all the way. It's nuts. The one thing that was a little weird was the passage of time. Like when you think of the movie sequentially, apparently, I guess the Guardians of the Galaxy, over the course of their two movies and this appearance, it's been, my understanding was like weeks, not years. Because I believe when they were talking to, when Quill had mentioned his dad or something, he had said like, yeah, like last week I had to kill my dad or something like that. I forget the exact line that made me think that, but
I don't remember that at all.
Yeah. And the implication, the other implication is Thor Ragnarok. The after credits scene is them stumbling upon Thanos' ship. The opening of this movie is all of the Asgardians dead, and then the Guardians of the Galaxy run into them right away. So like everything starts to come together right there.
Yeah.
But the timelines were definitely different, because then when they were talking to Cap and the other Avengers who were, I guess, exiled, they had been gone for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Like I thought they said a couple of years.
I know with Hulk, with Banner, he's been off of Earth for a couple of years now.
Yeah, and because he was on Asgard and everything.
Yeah, so
not Asgard. I guess he was on whatever Jeff Goldblum's planet was.
The battle planet, whatever.
Yeah,
but yeah,
man, just getting lost in the details.
But yeah, understanding the timeline I think is pretty important. It's it plays a lot to the film.
For sure.
But for me, I didn't hear any of that, but it did feel like it made sense that everything led to this point,
Yeah, sure. It's like the only place it could go.
I guess like one of my only complaints with it as it is Captain America kind of felt like he was barely in this film.
He really did. And I mean, part of that is having like 70 main characters, but him and Black Panther and basically any of the B characters from the other movies, they were barely involved.
Yeah.
Like, I wanted the next stuff with Captain America to be something with him and Bucky.
Right.
And Bucky has like 4 lines.
Yeah. He's just a happy dude.
Yeah, and so nothing really has come of that yet.
Yeah.
So it's kind of this still lingering question because, okay, so the deaths that I think we predicted or talked about, at least in the summer movie preview, were Tony and Steve. Well, Vision was low-hanging fruit. I mean, they killed him like 3 times in this movie.
Yeah. We were just like, we know for sure Vision ain't making it out of this.
Yeah.
He might. Who knows what they're doing in the sequel? I feel some of these characters will come back.
Yeah.
There's no way they won't. Ones that were killed outside of the final moment, I don't know. I don't know if they will come back. I do feel Gamora will come back. Gamora gets killed in a very strange way compared to everyone else because she's sacrificed for a soul gem, and then it appears that Thanos gets sucked into the gem once he does his final thing, and he sees kind of like the soul of Gamora in there.
Yeah.
So I wonder if somehow that ties into possible resurrections for her or something. Like you could extract her soul in some way. So,
I mean, that's honestly going to be the big thing for the next Avengers is how these characters come back. Because like at the end, Black Panther dead, Spider-Man dead.
Just those alone.
All of the Guardians of the Galaxy except Rocket dead.
Yeah.
Those alone, when like, and I hate to be like, oh, they have contracts for more movies, but it's one, that's true.
Yeah.
And 2, they're such major characters. It's really hard to picture them being permanently dead. And that's what I meant pre-Seinfeld theme when I said this feels like a middle point rather than an ending, because something's going to have to happen here.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I get you on that.
We talked a lot about if Tony Stark would be dead, and he ended up being one of the ones still alive. Actually, all of the original Avengers ended up still being alive, which is very interesting to me. But
that's funny.
It ended up working for the Tony Stark character so well because he had to watch when Peter Quill died. That was pretty heartbreaking because you could just hear the like fear in his voice. And when Peter Parker died, that was like the most emotional moment of the movie for me.
Oh, same, yeah.
It was insane. Like, it was very well acted. Tom Holland's very good.
Dude, I don't want to go. I don't want to go. Like, I was just like, oh my God.
The fact that he kept calling him Mr. Stark.
Yeah.
Was, I don't know. Something was off about it to me. Like, at the end, I thought maybe he'd say, like, Tony. But, especially after he's officially made an Avenger. But that's not who Peter Parker is. So,
yeah. And it's definitely not kid Peter Parker.
Yeah. But no, I mean, we're left with, like, Falcon's gone. Bucky's gone. Was Black Widow one of the ones? No, she's still
there. The Hulk is still there.
Yeah, all the OG Avengers are still there. Rocket's still there.
Dude, I love Rocket.
Yeah, he's very funny. The movie is hilarious.
Oh, yeah.
Which I thought was interesting because Civil War definitely struck. I mean, it still had funny moments, but it definitely struck a more serious tone.
Yeah.
Especially compared to Avengers and Age of Ultron.
Mm-hmm.
It felt like a direction they were going. And this movie is very sinister with Thanos, but it's hilarious as well. Like, the first big laugh in the theater was when the first member of Thanos's brood shows up, and Tony's like you're trespassing, Squidward, or whatever he says to that guy. Drax was hilarious every time.
Oh yeah. For me, I mean, it all comes down to the 2 Chris's in space, dude. I was seeing Quill freak out over Thor and how everyone's reacting to Thor.
Yeah.
was great. Just all of it. When he changes his voice, he's like, like
Yeah.
when they kept
Like,
calling
why
him,
did you like that with your voice?
like sexy angel pirate or whatever, like all of that.
Angel, yeah.
It was so damn funny, dude. I just could not stop laughing.
I forgot why they were saying pirate until they zoomed in again and he had the eye patch.
Yeah.
I totally forgot.
Oh, man.
Drax had a sequence where he was eating chips and he said, I was completely invisible, and he's not. And it's just really funny the way he says it. He's like, I'm sure you can't see me. How about also Tyrion Lannister?
Yeah, Dinklage, dude.
Yeah, Dinklage got to play a dwarf forge master, I guess.
And it's a giant dwarf, which I loved.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
That was an interesting sequence. I think Thor basically being willing to sacrifice himself for the making of his new hammer axe, Stormbreaker. I thought it was interesting that like Rocket and Groot got like all turned up by that too. They're like, okay, we're into this too if this guy's going to do this.
Yeah, yeah.
And then when Thor and the two of them all show up on Earth at the Wakanda battle, it was pretty badass.
Oh, yeah.
Like Thor, he's insane. He's definitely the most powerful Avenger.
Yeah, for sure. Current roster, yes. I will say that. I have heard, I think, did we ever decide if it was Feig or Feige?
I don't think we did. I've heard Feige as well.
All right, well, I have... Why every episode is there one name that we just can't get?
What do you mean one name? We're just moved on from Denis Villeneuve to Kevin Feige.
What about, what was her name? Melissa Leo?
Melissa Leo. See, you said it the right way. Leo.
Anyway, I'm going to say Feige. Kevin Feige.
Yeah.
Apparently, he recently said that Captain Marvel, Carol Danvers, is probably pound for pound the most powerful person.
Interesting.
That will be in the MCU. But I feel like they really ramped up some Thor power here, and I was into it.
Yeah, I mean, that whole end battle at Wakanda was a little much, but I understand that any movie like this needs to have this epic battle, and it was epic in its scale.
It worked for me because they broke it down into... I mean, it was happening, but it was happening with other action happening too.
Oh, yeah.
And then they would...
I mean, they know how to do it.
Yeah, and they would focus on the individuals. They would stop and take time to, like when Bucky picks up Rocket and they're just circle shooting.
Yeah, imagine being writing that scene into the script, you know? Like, imagine in, like, 1998 writing a scene like that into any script. Yeah,
the one-armed cyborg assassin picks up a raccoon with a gun. It's great, man.
It really is. It's shown how far things have come.
So one thing I was saying was, if you want to argue that there's an ending to the film, like an actual ending that comes to an end, I would argue at that point, whenever Thanos does his snaps his fingers, pretty much like from when he sacrifices Gamora all the way through that part, it's slowly it's not that he becomes the main character, but it becomes his story then in a sense, because
it definitely does.
He says that he wants to see the sunrise after he fixes the universe. Yep. And that's how the movie ends, basically. So
was he on Earth for that?
I don't know where he was, man. He was just on this little like Nordic village all of a sudden.
Yeah, it was beautiful.
Yeah, it was beautiful. There. And he looked so serene and so happy. Yeah. And still mournful, though.
In the credits, I don't know if you noticed, but normally where it says like the Avengers will return or Spider-Man will return, it said Thanos will return.
Oh, that's awesome.
And like,
I didn't
of
even
course
see that,
he will.
Dude. Yeah.
Yeah, that was right before the after credits scene, like at the end of the credits.
Yeah. Let's talk about that for a second, dude.
Yeah, so we got Nick Fury back again.
Finally,
this is
with
first time since Civil War, or not Civil War, Winter Soldier, right?
Maybe.
Because I don't think he was in Age of Ultron. I just rewatched it and I don't remember him being in it. Because Shield's been gone.
Yeah, because he's gone underground. That's right.
Yeah, him and Maria Hill. Colby Smulders.
What's her Canadian name?
Robin
Sparkles
Scherbatsky. Robin Sparkles is the Robin Scherbatsky pop star.
Yeah. But
that's
what I was referring to. But you got me.
It was like a reference that was 3 layers deep. So they're driving around. The snap happens in Wakanda. People just start disappearing. As Maria disappears, Nick Fury's running back to the car to call.
Well.
Did I miss a key detail?
I wanted to say I really liked the background stuff happening, like the helicopter falling and the cars crashing. Like, I liked that they were showing the details that's all I was going to say. It was cool.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, no, like, you're absolutely right. He pulls out a...
Wait. Before you get to that, I just wanted to make another comment about those details. It reminded me of an ill-fated show from 2008, 2009 called Flash Forward. I don't know if you remember that. But there was basically the plot is everybody has like a mini coma where they can see this specific date in the future, and then like chaos happens because everybody's in a mini coma and like cars crash and stuff, and then the leftovers has something where like 5% of the population disappears, and it has scenes like this too, so it's a cool trope now. And
I'll take it back a little bit further.
Ooh.
It reminded me of a much praised comic book series called Why the Last Man, where in almost as quick as a snap of a fingers, the entire male population, except for a single like 20-something-year-old guy and his pet monkey, vanish instantly. And the comic opens with similar mayhem, and that's where my brain first went. But
I'm gonna take it one step further. It reminded me of a great magician act in the mid-1800s. I'm just kidding.
I'll take it even further. It reminded me of the rapture from the Bible.
You always have to go back to the OG rapture. I'm too young to understand it.
You'll get it one day, Scott. No, I mean, it's cool, man. It was just a cool scene.
Who's on the phone, though?
Who's on the phone? Well,
are we still in the details?
Is it a phone or is it a pager?
Dude, I don't know what it was.
It looked to me. It looked like an old school '90s pager with some alien modifications in it. He dials in a number, and it says like dialing or some shit like that. Yeah. And then the camera slowly zooms into it, and you see like a little digital modified Captain Marvel insignia.
Yeah.
And then just fades out right there. Only after credit scene.
Yeah.
I feel
honestly,
like
I was kind of let down because I don't know. Maybe the average moviegoer doesn't know that one of the next films is Captain Marvel, so maybe that was a big reveal. But also, I don't think Captain Marvel has the name power for that to be a big reveal. Like, if at the end of Age of Ultron, a scene like this happened and they showed the Spider-Man logo, people would know and probably freak out. But my theater had no reaction to this scene.
I think for that, it's going to be more of a people being like, what was that scene about? And they do that sometimes. I mean, they've done that plenty of times in their movies where they show something weird. And it's like in
Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, they showed the gold guy, right?
Yeah. And see, I got jazz on that, Adam Warlock. So, like, I think for some people, it's like, oh, that's weird. What is that? And then the people in the know are like, oh, hell yeah. But the thing is, like, these movies are such a part of public lexicon now that, like, even though the average viewer might not know what that is, the average viewer, I think, will go to work on Monday and ask the nerdy guy in the cubicle what that was about.
Or they'll Google it, and there'll be articles like, what was that end scene all about? You know? Yeah. The interesting thing is Captain Marvel takes place in the mid-'90s. I'm pretty sure that's been confirmed.
As far as I know, yeah.
Yeah. And it's not the mid-'90s at the end of Infinity War, so... I know there's been rumors of like time travel being involved somehow, but I'm wondering how it's all going to tie together. I mean, we have another Avengers film on the horizon where these plot lines are going to be wrapped up, I would imagine. And I'm just really interested in where it's going. It's cool that I don't know at all. You know,
I got a question for you.
I can't even picture it. Yeah, hit me.
At what point do you think this vanishing stuff at the end will affect Ant-Man and the Wasp? At the end?
So it's interesting. So some notable exclusions from the movie were Ant-Man, the Wasp, Hawkeye wasn't in the movie at all. Those are really the two big ones. There was a couple other missing. Oh, Aunt May.
Aunt May? Valkyrie. Valkyrie wasn't in there.
That's right. Valkyrie from Thor Ragnarok.
Any of the extra little Thor people, they weren't in there. That's less important, obviously. They did have what's his face, cool guy. Idris Elba's character, he got killed too.
Heimdall.
Heimdall, yeah.
He had a good sending off. I'd
say
hell
yeah, dude.
You know,
and his sending off kind of like led to the Avengers knowing what's going on, so that was pretty important.
Yeah. But anyways, so they're not in the movie, and Ant-Man and the Wasp is coming up right now.
Yeah.
The trailers haven't shown any tie to Infinity War, I wonder if we're gonna get another Ant-Man trailer in like a month or maybe a month and a half that should like make some direct ties maybe to it. But my guess is it takes place around the same time, just with a smaller scale conflict.
Yeah.
Or, and I know you haven't seen Ant-Man, but maybe you're familiar with the character. There's this whole like other realm that they can go to at this like submolecular
that micro level. Yeah.
Yeah. And maybe there's something that's going to be involved there. And I know Kevin Feige has said that Ant-Man and Hawkeye are both involved in this pair of Avengers films. Since they weren't in this one, obviously, that means they'll be involved in the next one. So maybe something out of Ant-Man and the Wasp will directly impact the next Avengers film, and they'll be involved in that. So I don't know. It's super intriguing. I'm excited to see where they go, because the last few Marvel movies have honestly hit it out of the park for me.
Oh, yeah.
Between Black Panther, Thor Ragnarok, Spider-Man Homecoming, Civil War on have like all been hits for me. So I'm excited.
I'm super excited, dude. I wish the next one was here already.
Boom.
I want more immediately. Like I said, I want to see it right away again. I'm asking because Jody didn't go with me, so I'm like, hey, if you actually want to see this movie this week,
Yeah. Like, I guess I'll go with you.
Let's go. Let's do it. I had pitched to her. I was like, let's meet up with them. They're going to. I'm glad we didn't, because knowing you guys got home at 1, she'd have been like, I hate that movie.
We didn't get home at 1. I just didn't go to bed till 1. Like it
still,
started at 9:15, and I probably got home at like 12:40 or something.
Party animal.
Yeah. My theater experience sucked, by the way. Like 3 seats down from me, a kid was just talking the whole time, but he wasn't saying anything interesting. It wasn't like cool clips. He was like, "Oh, that's Spider-Man."
Wow.
Like stuff like that. He was with a group of friends, and even his friends were annoyed by it. And then he took his shoes off halfway through the movie. Did not like that. So
That's
then when
really
I was
strange.
leaving, he was still sitting there. His shoes were just on the ground. I kicked his shoes down the hall.
Were you really? I mean, did you really? Do that?
I kicked him like 3 feet down, but
That's funny.
he was super annoying. And it was like hot as a mess in that theater. I was sweating like a motherfucker.
Yeah, no, like I said, 9 a.m. is the way to go, bro.
Yeah, man. Next time.
Yeah, man. I mean, I'm trying to think of things I like that didn't really land for me in any way. And
Most stuff landed for me. My only, like, and it's not even a drawback. I know that there's more to this story. So this story is not done. And so for me, I'm like kind of left hanging.
Yeah. Yeah, I think had like Tony or Cap died, it would have felt more like an ending.
Some more consequence, with they had a perfect moment for Tony to die, where he was like 1v1ing Thanos.
Yeah.
Thanos had a great line. He was like, "I hope they remember you."
Yeah, man.
And then he could have killed him right there.
Yeah. And
that would have been cool. But at the same time, I'm not so disappointed by that because he had a great moment right after that with Peter and with Doctor Strange and everybody.
And like he kind of gets to see everyone else die around him. Which is almost better than him just dying, you know?
Yeah, I mentioned that during our summer movie preview. It's like more fitting for the character, I think, to see all that.
Yeah, to just be left like broken on a planet by himself, maybe.
Nebula.
Nebula's there, yeah, which is great, actually.
They're close friends for sure.
Yeah. Well, I feel like that's a great pairing because he's going to be like somber and morose. Yeah. And like she knows that like she just lost the closest thing she had to friends and family. Yeah. All together. So it's just like they're going to be depressed friends. So wherever they go next, I think their interactions will be interesting for sure.
Ship them.
No. Maybe like U.S. U.S. Postal Service? Yeah. Ship them that way.
Yeah, get them back to Earth. You know, USPS is the most impressive parcel delivery service in the world. So they can do it.
Now that Heimdall's gone, yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I guess it is true.
That weapon Thor got was really badass.
Yeah, Stormbreaker.
Yeah, that thing was cool.
But at the same time, like by the end of Thor Ragnarok, Thor's just like tossing lightning bolts and killing everything. So
yeah, man, it's awesome.
I don't feel like he needed the weapon, but it was awesome.
Well, it gave him the travel power. And
he did get the best hit in on Thanos.
Yeah.
Like Thanos is pretty untouchable in like a pretty impressive way, and Thor gets one real good lick on him, but it's not enough.
Yeah.
Snap goes the dynamite.
Well, he should have hit the head, right?
Should have hit the head. Hey.
Yeah, man. I just
it's good stuff.
With T'Challa and Peter gone, both Peters. It's like They're coming back. Those three are coming back, no doubt.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, and if they come back, I imagine the snap will somehow get undone.
But then I also wonder, because I was talking with former guest Josh, and we were tossing around ideas, like just outlandish stuff that could happen. Like, what if they have to go to other universes to get everyone back?
I hope they don't do that.
Yeah, or what if,
because I know in the comics it gets super weird with alternate dimensions. Like, there's different versions of Earth and stuff. I hope they don't try and bring that into the Marvel Cinematic Universe, because it's too weird for me.
My spitball with that would be, what if the Venom movie ends with like Peter just showing up somehow?
That would be kind of funny. What do you think of the Venom trailer, by the way? You were out of town when it came out, and I had texted you, but I think you were busy.
I read your text like much later, I'm sure, because I think I was really busy. But
yeah,
I was actually surprised that you were pretty interested.
Yeah, there's one really stupid line in it, but other than that, I was like, okay.
I still can't get a good read on it. Like, I keep getting just tripped up on the "why does this exist" part. But
well, yeah. I'm still out on its existence in general, but considering that it exists, it looks okay.
Yeah.
I like Riz Ahmed a lot too, the actor, and he doesn't make a villain in my eyes, and he's going to be the villain here, so that should be interesting.
Yeah, and I love Michelle Williams, and I'm just I don't know where, or I don't know, man. I have honestly, like, I am so confused by that movie. I don't have a clear thought on it.
It would be kind of cool if like Peter just shows up at the end.
My other thing that we had pitched back and forth was, what if somehow they all just got shuffled through time, which would be too crazy also. But like, and then in Captain Marvel, you could have like old Nick Fury show up too, and maybe he was really just there the whole time they were lying about the 90s thing. That'd be ridiculous. But I think the pager signifies, it's the 90s. No, there's, who knows what they're doing. I don't know. Yeah. It's just like,
they could go in any direction. It's really cool that we legitimately have no idea.
But I do for sure feel a lot of those characters coming back.
Yeah, and I almost think they overdid it with the characters that did disappear.
Yeah.
The fact that it was like all their like new stable of hit makers, like it was none of the OG Avengers that we think are going to start to get phased out. Yeah. Particularly Iron Man and Cap. The fact that all of them are fine just makes me think we're not done yet.
What would be interesting is if like they're all stuck in like one alternate universe and it's like just split in two basically.
Yeah.
It would be weird. I'm just saying, like, there's so many things they can do. I don't even know. Honestly, because then you have like maybe Rocket just joins the Avengers, which is a ludicrous concept, but I love it. It's one of those things. This movie just gives me so many ideas, and I like that. I'm just pondering what could happen at every moment.
I really like that.
I really like that. Yeah, I man, it's good. I want to
see
it again.
I think I might see it again at some point.
Oh, for sure.
Let's see it again together.
We could try.
Yeah. It sounds good.
I'll at least see it with 50% of the critical breakdown.
Ooh. So that means only one of us can go?
No, I said I will at least see it with that.
Okay.
Like half the population of TCB, I will see it with them.
Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah. For sure. I'm just saying for sure. Hopefully I can see it with all. This is terrible. Why are you letting me keep going with this bit?
I haven't added anything to this bit in an effort to allow you to not continue the bit.
But you keep getting it, my friend.
Do you have any more thoughts, Max, before we sign off?
I probably have too many, but I don't know, man. It's good. It's good.
It's good.
It's a really good movie.
Good stuff.
It makes me very excited for what's to come. I just rewatched Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 like the day before seeing this and had a blast watching that. So
you know what? Watch Ant-Man, man.
Yeah, I might get to that and Doctor Strange.
Well, yeah, you can't even use your Ant-Man excuse for Doctor Strange because I'm pretty sure Doctor Strange is on Netflix.
Yeah, it is. I have a bunch of movies to review, so once I get through those, it's on my list.
Same. Well, it's not on my list, but I also have a bunch of movies to review. Anyways.
All right, man.
Yeah, cool. All right.
What part made you laugh the most?
Drax's lines made me laugh the most. Like
he was pretty
I'm sure I'm invisible scene made me laugh the most.
Yeah. There was another thing when they're talking to Tony where he was really funny. but I don't remember what it was.
There
It
was
like,
one sequence when Peter was like, "Where's Gamora?" And then Tony's like, "I'll do you one better. Who is Gamora?"
Yeah,
and then
that.
Drax was like, "I'll do you one better. Why is Gamora?" That was funny.
Man.
And it was consistently funny.
Yeah. Every character felt like their character, which was good.
Yeah. Yeah, like Peter Quill makes like a real dumb, boneheaded move at one point, but it fits the character.
Yeah, yeah.
He did that in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2.
And like honestly, he had the right motivation to do that dumb move.
Yeah.
Like that made perfect sense. So it was one of those things where you're like, I know that he shouldn't do that, but I would do the same thing. So
for sure. Did you by chance catch the Tobias Funke Easter egg?
I didn't catch it in the movie. I saw at the end. This is probably why I didn't see the Thanos line. It said the characters, blah, 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 borrowed from Arrested Development, owned by this and that. And I was like, wait, what the fuck?
Yeah.
I was just staring at that, like, confused.
Google it because
I see it now. Yeah, I looked it up now. But
yeah, I didn't see it in the movie, but I saw it afterward. I thought it was kind of funny.
It definitely was funny. It was a good call on their part.
I just, like, I'm imagining the directors going to, like, the Disney execs and being like, we really need these rights. It's important to the movie.
Yeah. I imagine they would probably do it. They'd probably do it, like, insert it in there and then be like, oh, wait a second. We happen to put a mustache blue guy with never nude shorts on. Yeah. I guess we have to get those rights from Fox. So, yeah. Maybe it's part of the merger.
Yeah, I don't think those characters belong to Fox anymore.
Oh, okay. Maybe not. Yeah, that makes sense.
Netflix, baby.
Oh, well, then they definitely were like, yeah, let's just go talk to them.
For sure.
Apparently, season 5 is still supposed to come out this summer.
That's what, what's his name said there? Bob blah blah. No, not Bob blah blah. Barry. What's the character?
Barry Zuckerkorn? You're talking about Henry Winkler?
Yeah.
Nice.
He said in an interview that it's coming out late summer or something. I don't know about that though, because I feel like there'd be a trailer. But what can you do?
Maybe. All right, we'll be back.
All right.
We'll be back next week
with Galaxy Quest.
Finally, giving you guys Galaxy Quest.
Yeah, we wanted to leave it teased out there for a while.
Yeah.
You know? So we did.
Woo. All right, guys. We're signing off.
Good night.